Oh, Matthew Harvey here, author of the Bernicia Chronicles and Wolf of Wessex, The Dark Frontier, and A Time for Swords. And you may be wondering why I'm walking along next to this busy road, um, which lots of cars are zooming along beside me. And it's because I've stopped here on the way home from Lindisfarne, where I was signing books yesterday. Lindisfarne Mead, which was fantastic. But because today is an incredibly important anniversary, it's the 8th of June, and the 8th of June is the anniversary of the first attack on Lindisfarne by the Vikings, or the Norse, as they would have been known then, or something like that, Northmen. But yes, men from Scandinavia came and attacked Lindisfarne, sacked the monastery, and that was exactly 1,233 years ago today. And in my book, A Time for Swords, the story starts there on Lindisfarne with Hunlaf looking back on his life. And anyone who's read that book will know that Hunlaf, of course, as he's writing the story as an old man, does not perish with so many of the monks there on the island, but he survives and he goes on and he travels in the end, later on in the story, to defend another monastery at a place called Warkworth, or Warkworth, as it's called in the book. And that place exists, Warkworth exists. It wasn't a monastery that we know of, although the land was owned by the Lindisfarne priory earlier on around that time. So it's possible that it might have held some sort of religious site, and the location of it was quite apt for a monastery at that time, because it's on a loop, a meander, and a sort of a loop of land that's surrounded on three sides by water, by the River Cocket. And I'm walking along beside the River Cocket here. Behind me, it goes out towards the sea, and if I turn around, you can see in the distance, where are we going? You can see in the distance, there, Warkworth Castle. So that's Warkworth there. So the river carries on along there and it loops around. The Warkworth Castle is obviously built much later in history than 793, but that's more or less the site of where I've got the monastery. Not up on the hill, that's where the hall is, but where the castle is now, but in that loop of land that's surrounded by this meander of the River Cocket. So that's A Time for Swords, and that's the book that I've got that starts in 793 on the 8th of June at the attack on Lindisfarne. And I thought, as I was driving past, I haven't got time to go into the town and have a real look around, but I thought I should stop at least to give you an idea of the scenery and what we're looking at, and what it might have looked at the time. I mean, I'm sure the river hasn't changed vastly in that time, and in the story, Hunlaf ends up travelling along this river at some point, and as you may imagine, some Norse ships come along this way as well. And yes, and the rest, as I say, is history, or a story in my case. So go and read A Time for Swords.